Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Teacher Rayven. You're here at Teacher Rayven Vlogs. In this video, we will have the first video for the series Language Talks. Language Talks will be about grammar, sentences, structures, and a lot more about language. So I hope that you will learn something from this series of videos. Welcome everyone, this is Language Talks. One particular teacher taught me a mnemonic that made me remember the 8 basic parts of speech. And until now, I share this to my students and also to other teachers that I know. So I would like to acknowledge Mrs. Rowena Dulias, my third-year high school English teacher in Zambales National High School. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing this piece of knowledge that was actually shared to her by her former department head, Mr. Emilio Bonaki. Here, we will talk about the 8 basic parts of speech and use the mnemonic that was shared to me to remember that. So let's start. I will be having my visual for you, my slides. So you could pause this video if you want to read more, capture the slide, and of course, analyze the definitions and think of your own examples later on. This video, it will be followed by other videos that will be talking about each part of speech in a deeper manner. So just for this, I will just introduce them to you, simple definition and examples. Okay, so I hope you're ready. Let's go now to the slides. So the parts of speech, we could use the mnemonic that was shared to me by my English teacher. That's Van PAPCI, just like your Roy Biv. Okay, so to remember a certain concept. And in this case, we have the parts of speech. So let's have Van PAPCI. Let's have V for verb, A for adverb, N for noun, P, the first one, for pronoun, then the second A is adjective, the second P is preposition, C, conjunction, and I, interjection. Thus, we have the Van PAPCI, your basic parts of speech. Now, in some other sources, they might include determiners. But for some sources, and in this case, determiners are actually classified under adjectives. So, of course, we will talk about that deeper in the video about adjective. So, just wait for that. Now, let's proceed with the first one. We have the verb. The verb, in its basic manner, is a word or phrase or group of words that expresses time. That's why you have your verb tenses. Okay, that time element in a sentence that will signal to you that there is an action being made. And then you have showing action, condition, and the fact that something exists. So remember that a verb is very important in a sentence because it is actually one of the most important elements or part of a sentence that is with the subject. That's why you have your subject-verb agreement. Again, we will have that in the future videos. Now, examples of verbs. Here, we have create, an action verb, read, write. And this one, or these two, we have is and are. They are not actions, but they are linking verbs. So again, in the video for verbs, we will talk about them. So just review them. They are examples of verbs. So your is and are, and for the pronoun or the subject I, we have a special linking verb that is am. Okay? So that's your verb. Now let's proceed with adverb. Your adverb is the one that adds meaning, or the word that adds meaning to your verb, adjective, and adverb. Again, remember that you have 3 words that is being described. or that is being given color by the adverb. And that is your verb, adjective, and another adverb. So the first example we have is quickly, your usual form of adverb. That's why you will notice that for some adverbs, they have the ly. Okay, but in the next example, you will notice that there's none, like quite and always. So again, if you always remember adverb as words having the ending part with ly, forget about that because there are samples or examples of adverbs without the ly at the end. Okay? So just like your quite and always. Now, let's proceed with the next one, the noun. I think this one is the most basic because I think in elementary or in lower years, this is usually the first part of speech that is being introduced. Okay, that is your noun. That names or that name people, places, animal, thing, or idea. Okay, basically, nouns are names. So, examples are 1, we have the Philippines, education, and justice. Now, I would just like to highlight just a glimpse for nouns that some nouns, of course, are capitalized, like 1 and Philippines, and some nouns are not, like education and justice. Because, of course, there are common and proper nouns. Proper nouns are those that are being capitalized. They are specific names. While common nouns, they are general names. That's why they are not capitalized, or usually they start with small letters. Okay? So that is your noun. Now let's proceed with the fourth part of speech. We have now van. Now let's start with the PAPCI. We have the first one, the pronoun. So pronoun is the substitute, or it substitutes a noun. So example, we have your he, she, his, her, I, you, their, and we. So basically, if you don't have the names, it's substituted with these words, and we call them pronouns. Okay, so in a stretch of utterance, we can't just always use the name. For example, Rayven is teaching, Rayven is sitting, Rayven is writing. You could substitute Rayven with, for example, Rayven is teaching, he is writing, and he is reading. So you could substitute the noun, the first noun that you use, into a different form, which is the pronoun. So of course, in the video for pronoun, we will talk about it deeper. Okay? So now let's have adjective. Now for adjective, we have them as the describing words, or they describe a noun, usually. Okay? So for adjective, we have, for example, tall, talented, and intelligent. So if it is describing the noun, okay, it could be your adjective, and it is usually coming before the noun. So for example, beautiful lady, talented kid, tall man, intelligent teacher. So we could always use that adjective before the noun that it describes. Okay, so usually we consider also them as modifying words. But of course, that is a deeper word for adjectives. We could just remember adjectives as something that describes. Okay? Okay, so now let's proceed with preposition. So for preposition, we just have to remember that it relates a noun or pronoun to another word. Now, it is pertaining to the relationship of your noun. Okay, we call that the object of preposition to another word in the sentence. Of course, we will understand this better if we have sentences, but of course, even though it is a word alone, we could actually understand or know what a preposition is. That is your in, on, at, and under. And there are a lot more other prepositions. Now, in some research, the preposition is the most difficult part of speech to understand because in some languages, there are only few prepositions. But in English, they have different prepositions, a lot of prepositions to remember. Okay? So, some of these are your in, on, at, and under. They're just the basic. Of course, in the video for preposition, we will talk about the other prepositions. Okay? So, let's continue. Now, we have the seventh, the C, your conjunction. This is your word that connects to a word or words or phrases or group of words in a sentence. So, remember that the conjunction usually, okay, will have the fanboys to remember them. One example of a conjunction, because there is your coordinating and subordinating conjunction. So in the future video for conjunction, we will learn about them. But for now, we will just talk about the fanboys to remember your conjunction. So they are your for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Okay? So that's your conjunction. Now, the last one is your interjection. Now, the interjection, okay, is so basic and it's very easy. It's a word that expresses feelings or emotions. So, usually, the interjection have the punctuation mark, the exclamation point. So, for example, you have your hooray, your wow, your ouch. But of course, if you do not have an exclamation point, it's okay. Okay, as long as you know the word that expresses emotion or feelings, that is your interjection. Okay, so that is your concept of the parts of speech. Your van, PAPCI, your verb, adverb, noun, pronoun, adjective, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. Thus, you have your van, PAPCI. And I hope this language talks. I hope that you like this video. If you like it, click the like button, share, subscribe, and comment down below if you have questions. Let's answer them. And of course, subscribe to this channel for you to be updated to the future videos. Thank you everyone. Class dismissed.